Shalom to the sons and daughters of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and welcome back to another episode of Torah Tuesday. And today's topic is going to be duties of a husband's brother unto her. Now, this is a law that may be looked upon as not right um, because this law consists of if you have two brothers or five brothers and one of them died, the law is going to explain to you that in order to keep that particular brother's bloodline, his DNA, and have a name in Israel, that another brother or his brother that's alive would have to take his wife to bring up a child. And just let me backtrack because you're right. So if he dies without any children, then one of the brothers would take his wife, marry her, and then bring up a child in his name so that his name will continue in uh, the within the nation of Israel. So when something like that go forth, everybody looks at it like, oh no, that's not right. He's taking his brother's wife. Well, the Most High sees it lawful, and he does it for a reason. He does it so that the generation of that particular men can continue on, and the bloodline can continue on. So let's get into it real quick. We're gonna read what thus say the Lord, and a lot of people may not be familiar with it, but it's in the Bible. It's in the Bible, and we're just gonna go over it a little bit. This will be a quick one. We're gonna start off in Deuteronomy chapter 25, and we're gonna start off with 25 and 5. It says, "If brethren dwell together, and one of them die, and have no child." So now here we're going into the whole situation. Is one of them die, and it doesn't have any child. The wife of the dead shall not marry without unto a stranger. So she's not supposed to go and marry another man at this point in time because she had no children for that man who passed away. Her husband's brother shall go in unto her, meaning have sex, and take her to him to wife, and perform the duty of an husband brother unto her. Now, like I said, most people would not agree with this, but the Lord said that this is lawful and these things should be carried out. Let's continue. Verse 6. And it shall be that the firstborn which she beareth shall succeed in the name of his brother which is dead. That's the whole purpose of it, is to have that man's name to be carried on within the nation of Israel, but also within the generation of that particular family. Verse 6 again. And it shall be that the firstborn which she beareth shall succeed in the name of his brother which is dead, that his name be not put out of Israel. Verse 7. And if the man like not to take his brother's wife, now here's the scenario that goes on. What if the brother be like, no, I ain't doing that? Well, there's consequences behind it. And now the Lord is going to tell you what the consequences are. And we reading the law. We're in Deuteronomy. And that goes for another thing too. That lets you know that we've always said that the child is always determined by the father. If you want to go a little scientific little way, then you know that the man carries the X and Y chromosome. And when a man carries that, then he determines the sex of that child, but also he determines the nationality of that child. The mother has a role. We understand that, right? There's her DNA is also involved into forming this baby as well. But the man, that child is what that man is, period. And that also will go against anybody that says mixed race. There's no such thing as a mixed race, which is another lesson to be taught. But bottom line, when you do, if you want to go into science, like I said, the X and Y chromosome determines, and that only comes from that man, determine what that child is. So by the men within that family, it also shows that they have the same DNA. Okay, just want to put that out there. So, verse 7, and if the man like not to take his brother's wife, then let his brother's wife go up to the gates unto the elders and say, my husband's brother refused to raise up unto his brother a name in Israel. He will not perform the duty of my husband's brother. Verse 8, then the elders of the city shall call him and speak unto him. And if he stands to it and say, I like not to take her. See, that's a duty. So now we're going to find out what the consequences are. Then shall his brother's wife come unto him in the presence of the elders, and loose his shoe off his foot, and spit in his face, and shall answer and say, so shall it be done unto that man that will not build up his brother's house. See. So now she's going to loosen up the foot, hit the shoe off his foot, spit in his face. See, that's a disgrace. Because bottom line, he know what needs to be performed. Now, before we go any further, see, this is what the book of Ruth is all about. You know, Ruth is the Moabitess, but Naomi had what, 2 sons and her husband, but the husband died first, then the 2 sons died. So Ruth knew what this law meant. She was looking for the next kin, and Boaz was the next kin of her husband's family. He was part. It was part of the Naomi's husband, and his name was. Let me get that real quick. Let's get the book of Ruth real quick. Let's get the book of Ruth real quick. Elimelech, that's his name. So let's read a little bit of Ruth. Let's read a little bit of Ruth real quick. It says, now it came to pass in the days when the judges ruled that there was a famine in the land, and a certain man of Bethlehem, Judah, went to sojourn in the country of Moab, he and his wife and his 2 sons. And the name of the man was Elimelech, and the name of his wife Naomi, and the name of his 2 sons Amalian and Chilion, Ephraimites of Bethlehem, Judah. And they came unto the country of Moab and continued there. Now, the reason I'm going over this is because this is one of the scenarios that actually took place where someone of that man, Elimelech, someone of his bloodline, someone that's a male, that was able to carry out and continue the bloodline within their family, the men in their family. Okay, but I'm not going to read all of Ruth. I just want to get down to the part where both of them passed away. Well, let's go back. Let's go back. I just wanted to bring that out to actually show that there was an incident that took place, during the time of uh, this law was being performed. Okay. Um, so let's go back to Deuteronomy chapter 25 and verse 8. It says, then the elders of the city shall call him and speak unto him. And if he stands to it and say, I like not to take her, then shall the brother's wife come unto him in the presence of the elders and loose off his foot, and spit in his face, and shall answer and say, so shall it be done unto that man that will not build up his brother's house. Verse 10. And his name shall be called in Israel, the house of him that hath loosened, that has his shoe loosened. Okay, that has his shoe loosened. So now there's a name and a stigma put on him for not carrying out this duty. Okay, so now, like I said, certain people will shine upon this, but this is a law, and this is part of the laws that's in the Bible that most of our people is not aware of, and this is the law that is prudent for our nation, because that's how we keep our generations and within our tribes, to keep them within the boundaries and to keep fruitful and multiply our nation. So I'm gonna leave you with that, Israel. Like I said, it was a short one, but I encourage to go back and read Ruth, because that's what's basically that law is being fulfilled right in, and it's a very good book to read, and then come back into this law, and then read this law, and see how both of them connect and bring understanding, to our nation. So with that, Israel, I say shalom, and like I said, this was going to be a quick one, and come back to Torah Tuesday because I got some other things lined up. All right, shalom.